A call on ECOWAS heads to encourage citizens' participation in electoral processes.
We sincerely apologize for that. You're welcome to News Hour live on GBC News and GTV. Good evening, I'm Siyoko Kwakuchere.
Good evening, my name is Shirley Anand. Robert Frimpong Manso translates the news into sign language.
In the headlines, a call on ECOWAS heads to encourage citizens' participation in electoral processes.
Re-engineering of Bung landfill site is 95% complete, a relief for residents.
Views of the public about re-registration of SIM cards at the National Communication Authority.
And North Koreans struggling to live a life of dignity as starvation looms.
Now the news in detail. President Akufo-Addo is calling on ECOWAS heads to introduce systems to promote citizens' participation in electoral processes and credible elections in their respective countries.
Addressing the ECOWAS Parliament at Winneba in the Central Region, the President said the sub-region cannot drift into the area of military takeovers again, and for which reason leaders must ensure effective democratic systems to ensure free, fair and credible elections. His comments stem from the recent overthrow of democratically elected governments in Mali and Guinea.
That story later on. Trial of the former Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Alhaji Collins Dauda, and 4 others for willfully causing financial loss to the state over the Sagleme affordable housing project has been adjourned to October 21, 2021, pending a warrant by the Chief Justice for a new judge to hear the matter.
The accused persons are facing a total of 52 counts of criminal charges for intentionally misapplying $200 million by paying for 1,412 affordable housing units at Sagleme instead of 5,000 units as Parliament had approved.
The case was initially started at the Criminal Court 4 of the Accra High Court but was moved to Criminal Court 2. It was, however, adjourned because the new judge, Justice Elfrida Denchi, did not have the warrant of the Chief Justice to enable her to adjudicate the matter. The Member of Parliament for Isutifi, Alhaji Collins Dauda, is being charged together with the Housing Ministry from April 2015 to 2017, Dr. Kwekwa Mensah, the Chief Director at the Ministry from 2009 to 2017, Alhaji Ziblim Yakubu, the Executive Chairman of Constructura OAS, a construction company from Brazil which constructed the affordable housing project at Sagleme, Mr. Andrew Clocanas, and a Director of RMS, the Engineering Procurement and Construction EPC Consultancy Subcontractor, Mr. Novi Tete Angel. Of 5 have been charged for intentionally misapplying public property, contrary to Section 1, Subsection 2 of the Public Property Protection Act 1977, SMCD 140, issuing false certificates, Construct Protection Act 1979, AFRCD 15/8, and dishonestly causing loss to public property. They are also being charged for willfully causing financial loss to the state, contrary to Section 179, Subsection A, 3 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Public Prosecutions, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra Obuobisa, filed the charges at the Accra High Court on Friday, July 30, 2021. It is alleged that although $196.43 million on the Sagleme affordable housing project and the contractor having been paid $179.9 million, investigations carried out revealed that the cost of works executed on site, including consultancy services $64.98 million, with only 651.75 acres of land used out of the 2,172 acres allotted for the project. The prosecutor said investigations further revealed that only 668 housing units were completed by the contractor but not habitable. She also revealed that none of the houses under the project has been sold and the facility remains unpaid, resulting in huge financial loss to the country. The case has been adjourned to October 21, 2021.
The debate over whether the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill should be passed or not rages on our discussion program Focus. A member of the Communications Committee of Parliament, Mr. Sam George, and a former director of the Institute of African Studies of the University of Ghana, Professor Techua Menu, shared their views on the issue. A former Attorney General, Mr. Ayikwe Otu, joined the conversation via Zoom.
Guest on our current affairs program Focus expressed divergent views on the LGBTQI+ bill currently before Parliament. The bill seeks to criminalize lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and intersex life and people who are promoting it in the country. A group made up of academics, lawyers, researchers and human rights activists is opposed to the passage of such a bill. A former director of the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Techua Menu, is of the view that the rights of the LGBTQI+ must be protected.
We are all allowed to speak, yes. And Parliament itself, it's not just to make them stronger, it will be to expunge anything, assuming that law passes. And we are suggesting that that law does not deserve to pass. Okay, so this business about the EU Court of Justice, when it sues the proponents of the bill, they can cite things from everywhere. It's not foreign. And that is one of the things, as a researcher, I was appalled. There was no evidence. There are insinuations. There is no evidence from work done in Ghana to support anything in the bill.
A member of the Communications Committee of Parliament, Mr. Sam George, is of the view that LGBTQI+ practice in Ghana would not augur well for the nation.
There are members of the public who are saying that if you think it is okay for a man to change his sex to a woman and then be able to have sex with a person of the opposite sex, it is okay for me to also carry out my attraction to my daughter or my son. Once it is also consensual, so incest, and they are coming under the plus. So that is where the danger of enforcing rights that are indeterminate.
But do we have a law against incest in Ghana?
A former Attorney General and High Commissioner to Canada, Mr. Ayikwe Otu, joined the conversation via Zoom.
Stop making the argument about two consenting adults having sex in private. We are all aware of that. That is not only the issue. All the other definitions, where are they coming from? Prof admits that before a night, know these things. Where did they come about? Parliament concentrates on those other aspects that have hammered upon. Parliament will pass it. We are not ready for it.
Parliament is expected to work feverishly on the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill when it returns from recess.
After many years of serving as a dump site for Tema and some parts of Accra, the 48-acre Kpong landfill site is being decommissioned and re-engineered. According to residents, this is a dream come true, as the development will end years of the pollution in the area. The Ministry of Sanitation has hinted that the site will be converted into a recreational park after the decommissioning.
The Kpong landfill site, which receives about 2,500 tons of waste a day, reached its maximum point last year when it overflowed its retaining walls The offensive stench emanating from the site got worse when the facility caught fire, making it difficult for residents around to live in their homes due to the increased stench mixed with. Several complaints by the residents caught the attention of the government, who, through the Ministry of Sanitation, commenced a re-engineering and decommissioning process with Zoomlion as contractor. Currently, the site, which is undergoing moving of waste material, cutting and leveling of terraces, grading works, compacting of access road, dressing and it is 95% complete. Prior to the commencement of the project, some residents of Pong, particularly the youth, had agitated for the site to be closed due to the pungent smell it released into the atmosphere. Although the decommissioning was great news for the residents, the icing on the cake is that the 48-acre site will be transformed into a recreational park for the people of Pong and surrounding areas.
In our Citizen Journalist series today, many continue to sound the alarm bells about the virtual absence of lights on many of the streets in Accra. For residents in the capital, this situation must not continue since security is compromised, especially at night. Quite a number of street lights are malfunctioning, making driving at night dangerous. Our Citizen Journalist for today, David Agbavito, a driver, shares this revealing video of pitch darkness on some well-known streets in Accra.
Functioning street lights do not just serve an aesthetic purpose. With the sun at its zenith, this is the beautiful picture during the day on the Taifa Junction, Ofanko barrier stretch of the Accra-Kumasi Highway. Flip the time of the day, and this is the stark difference at night. Pitch darkness. Even though street light poles have been mounted along the streets, the absence of lighting is very noticeable and alarming. The only illumination whatsoever is from car beams. It is the same situation at Abofu Junction through the Achimota Police Station, Achimota School and Hospital. David says his greatest fear throughout his driving profession for the past 15 years is driving at night, as one is plunged into pitch darkness resembling that of the deepest forest at night. David wonders if the issue of the malfunctioning street lights is due to burnt out bulbs or faulty street light poles. The appropriate authorities should soonest as payment of the street lights levy on electricity bills is to enable the government to fix more street lights to aid visibility at night. David Agbavito reminds all that improved visibility prevents accidents and reduces crime, among other things.
It is a requirement for licensed surveyors to study the relevant provisions of the new Land Act 2020 Act 1036 and keep to best practices of the profession. The new Land Act 2020 Act 1036 was passed by Parliament and received presidential assent on December 23, 2020 at the opening of a two-day annual seminar and general meeting of licensed surveyors in Accra. The chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Lands and Forestry, Mr. Francis Meno, said the new act is fully in force. He said the objective of the law is to revise, harmonize and consolidate the laws of the land and for sustainable land administration and management in the country.
It is worth mentioning that the Act has made provisions to deal with the disturbing phenomenon where a group of people commonly referred to as land guards enter land to disrupt surveying activities and most often attack surveyors on site. Now if you get them, they will go to jail. Also has introduced various which addresses issues of forgery, impersonation, and other fraudulent activities. I will plead with the association to ensure that each of the members gets a copy of the Land Act 2020, Act 1036, to study the relevant portions, if not all. I will be very pleased if the association could organize workshops, seminars, and symposia to educate members on the provisions of the law.
You're still watching News Hour Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. President Akufo-Addo is calling on ECOWAS heads to introduce systems to promote citizens' participation in electoral processes and credible elections in their respective countries. Addressing the ECOWAS Parliament in Winneba in the Central Region, the President said the sub-region cannot drift into the era of military takeovers again, and for which reason leaders must ensure effective democratic systems to ensure free, fair and credible elections. His comments stem from the recent overthrow of democratically elected governments in Mali and Guinea.
This is the first time the ECOWAS Parliament is holding its high-level extraordinary interactive summit in the capital city of any country. The 200 delegates from the 15 are to review elections, democracy, political, economic situation for the past 20 years in the sub-region and serious recommendations as a parliament for the authority of heads of states. This is due to the recent instability in Mali and Guinea due to elections. The leader of Ghana's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, Mr. Alexander Afenyo-Markin, said the development in Mali and Guinea give cause for concern.
There is no gainsaying of the scars we bear from the brutal past of civil wars and dictatorial regimes that have caused massive poverty, loss of human lives, and economic stagnation. However, it is predominantly evident that the African region has recovered significantly from the menace of the past, and our states are more secure, democratic, prosperous, and progressive.
A representative of the president of the ECOWAS Commission said the commission is working to ensure the nagging issues relating to elections, democracy, are addressed peacefully. The Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Dr. C.D. Mohamed Tunis, said heads of state in the sub-region must consider and address challenges associated with the electoral process and elections in the sub-region.
We could also name the hijack policies and disenfranchisement, attack on free speech and the press as vices that attack a country's electoral system and take away from the core of democracy. The effect these have caused us and the toll they continue to have on the region, it has become necessary that we go beyond statements that merely condemn and consider imposing harsher penalties on would-be perpetrators.
The first Deputy Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Mr. Joseph Osewusu, urged member countries to adopt measures and policies that will reflect the will of the citizens. President Akufo-Addo said recent development in the sub-region call for democratic systems that are credible and promote free and fair elections.
I want to reiterate further my earlier support for the call to elect members of the ECOWAS Parliament by universal adult suffrage. Achieving that feat will mark an important milestone in the quest for full democracy in the region. It will also enable Parliament function with the needed autonomy, stability, and predictability.
The 5-day summit is christened evaluating 2 decades of democratic election in the ECOWAS region, achievement, challenges, and the way forward. Members are expected to draw up a plan with recommendations for lasting peace in the sub-region.
The Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Jean Mensah, has described the conduct of Ghana's 2020 general elections as historic. Addressing the ECOWAS Parliament at Winnipeg in the Central Region, Mrs. Mensah said the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions notwithstanding, the Commission organized efficient, free, fair, transparent and a cost-effective exercise which must be emulated by other sister states in the sub-region.
For the first time in our history, we executed the entire electoral process without donor assistance. Indeed, our elections of 2020 were solely funded by the government of Ghana. I'm happy to note that we reduced the cost of our election by 41% compared to 2016, notwithstanding and price hikes and the fact that we incurred additional costs owing to the COVID-19 protocols we deployed throughout the election. We cut the cost per voter from $13 per head in 2016 to $7.70 per head at a time when the cost of elections is rising world over. Through this reduction in cost, we saved the government a formidable sum of $90 million.
The World Food Programme has handed over 300 Samsung digital tablets to the Ghana School Feeding Programme to help track its operations nationwide. The tablets are also expected to enhance the digitization of the school feeding monitoring system and subsequently improve the programme's efficiency.
Since the inception of the Ghana School Feeding Program in 2005, the World Food Program, WFP, has been supportive by initially providing food to selected schools in northern Ghana and then later switching to cash transfers to caterers in the same geographical area. The WFP has since been helping in many other ways. One other area where the World Food Program is still helping is the school feeding legislation. This time, the WFP is helping to streamline the day-to-day activities of the Ghana School Feeding Program, particularly in terms of validating enrollment figures, flow of information, and checking the performance of caterers, effectively injecting sanity into the operations of the program. The presentation of the Samsung digital tablets to the Ghana School Feeding Program in Accra was to help track attendance and feeding in 260 schools in all 16 regions where digitization of the system will be piloted.
We are anticipating that these tablets, which have been uploaded with Tableau and Ona, will enable us to track attendance, school enrollment, as well as be able to enhance accountability and efficiency of the Ghana School Feeding Program.
Those who will be using the tablets include head teachers, circuit supervisors, managers of the school feeding program, and Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, regional and zonal levels.
There will be a training for that purpose so that everybody will understand how the software in the connection of the tablet will work. So the system is paperless. It's taken out of the system where you have to add one to one. But this time, the tablet is giving you through the software on daily basis as to information flow of reportage regarding numbers, schools, and then children's welfare, the hygiene aspect, the timeliness of food being delivered, and then caterers ability to work effectively. All those things will bring the transparency so that from the district and region we can see what actually is going on. We are grateful to our donor partners for that kind gesture.
We ourselves are running an accountability program across the country, the Ghana Accountability for Learning. World Food Program, giving the Ghana School Feeding Program these tablets would increase the accountability of the people within the food program.
This digitization initiative is estimated at $120,000. Rachel Quarty, GBC News, Accra.
It's GTP, the name behind
You promised to give me water. This water is coming from the gutter. It will make me sick. Your Honor, that is it. Due to the galamsey activities of the accused and his cohorts, they have polluted all our water bodies. See, this water is coming from our taps. They have destroyed all our forests, and above all, the activities are killing people.
Mr. Eja, you have been found guilty of indulging in galamsey. And since you don't want to mention the names of your bosses, you have been sentenced to 25 years in prison. This is my judgment.
Please, I will talk. Mr. Francis is bad. Mr. Mountain is bad. Mr. Usu, please, Your Honor, please, Your Honor, please.
Yenjai galamsey. Yenjai galamsey.
The Bank of Ghana has introduced a new coin. It's a 2 Ghana cedi coin to facilitate business and ease pressure on the lower denomination banknotes. The new coin has a 10-sided bimetallic material with outer gold color and inner silver color. The front image is the Ghana coat of arms and the back image is the Jubilee House. It has a latent image on the front which changes from the numeral 2 to a star when tilted. At the back is the small lettering of Ghana to cedi in the gold area. Accept the coins and use them.
Beginning 1st May 2019, GBC 24 and GTV Govern will
Thanks so much for staying on. Before the business segment, to bring you this story, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, through the Ghana Highway Authority and on behalf of GridCo, is informing the public and all road users that there will be some interruption to flow of traffic on some sections of the N1 and N2 highways on Saturday, October 16, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. A statement signed by the Acting Chief Executive of Highways, Mr. Christian Nti, an engineer, says the areas are N1 Tema Aflao Highway before the traffic lights at TT Brothers Junction, the N2, that is Tema Akonsombo Highway near the newly constructed overhead walkway. This is to enable GridCo begin work on the second double circuit line which traverses the N1 and N2 highways at the aforementioned areas. Motorists are kindly advised to follow the traffic diversion signs to be placed at the various sections on the N1 and N2. The Ghana Highway Authority sincerely apologizes for any inconveniences caused. It's time for business, and Esther Edu standing by.
Hello, let's do business, brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go. My name is Esther Edu Ohumewu. Ghana has received a grant of $36.5 million from Japan to complete the construction of the phase 2 of the Tema motorway roundabout and the rehabilitation of the National Trunk Road N8 in the Asun-Fosu-Praso section in the Central Region. The Minister for Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, and the Chief Representative of Japan International Cooperation Agency signed agreements covering the grant in Accra. The $36.5 million grant is part of the numerous support Ghana has enjoyed from Japan over the years due to the strong bilateral relations existing between the two countries. The latest grant comprises $33.2 million for the completion of Phase 2 of the Tema motorway roundabout project, which entails of a flyover linking the Tema Harbour Road to the Konsombo Road to complement the already commissioned interchange in Tema. An additional support of $3.3 million has also been granted as a top-up to the initial $57 million for the completion of Phase 2 of rehabilitation of the National Trunk Road N8 in the Central Region. At the signing ceremony in Accra, the Minister for Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, said the grants are timely as they will traffic along the corridors as well as complement government's second year of roads program, which is
to realize a financing gap of some $2.3 billion a year in infrastructure, and therefore agreements such as this and the Volivo Bridge are important as we try to open up the hinterland to make sure that our industrialization agenda 1D1F, we are able to get enhanced productivity, bring the products out, and use the transportation network to be able to reach our neighbors in West Africa.
The chief representative of Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, said Japan is determined to assist Ghana to achieve its goal of becoming the transport hub in West Africa.
One is a project for improvement of a Tema motorway roundabout phase 2, and the other is an amendment to the grant agreement for the project for rehabilitation of a National Trunk Road number 8, phase 2. So we can say the government of Ghana's priority towards making a Ghana transport hub in West Africa is not in doubt.
The two projects are expected to take off by end of 2021 and completed in 2023. Ghana recorded the highest post-COVID inflation of 10.6% in September, exceeding the Bank of Ghana's inflation target band of 8 plus or minus 2. Inflation was driven by the non-food category, which recorded 1.2% from the month of August.
Year-on-year inflation for the month of September 2021 stood at 10.6. This literally means that general price levels between September 2020 and September 2021 have gone up by 10.6%. So over a one-year period, September 2020 and September 2021, average prices of goods and services have gone up by 10.6%. On a month-on-month basis, comparing August 2021 to September 2021, general price levels have gone up by 0.6%. How do these figures inflation for the previous months? The 10.6 that we've recorded for the month of September 2021 is the highest that have been recorded for the post-COVID-19 period, i.e. since this is the first time that we are recording an inflation figure as high as 10.6. The highest that we recorded were during the pre-COVID period, i.e. July, June, and May 2021, which hovered around 11.3, 11.2, and 11.4. So since August 2020, this is the highest inflation that we've recorded in the 14-month period. From a disaggregation point of view, i.e. food inflation and non-food inflation, and also from a locally produced items and imported items, stood at 11.5 for the month of September 2021. This indicates a 0.6% increase in the food inflation that was recorded for the month of August 2021.
And that was Business brought to you by MTN. Thanks for watching.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the energy segment. I'm Dominic Konoji. Exhibitors at the 7th Ghana Renewable Energy Fair and Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge in Accra are calling on Ghanaians to accept solar energy as a complement to or alternative to the national grid. Speaking to GBC News on day 2 of the fair, they said though renewable energy can be a bit capital intensive, the long-term benefits makes it worth it.
On display at the 7th Ghana Renewable Energy Fair and Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge are systems, technologies and opportunities in the power generation sector. Solar energy has been in use in the country for more than 2 decades, but patronage has not been widespread. Operators in the solar energy space say the use of solar energy has far-reaching benefits.
So the sun is free for all of us, just that for us to be very smart and enjoy. To solar, the problem we normally have or we occur is the initial cost, but as the capital intensive, as time goes on, the cost becomes very less comparing to using electricity.
There's still more education that needs to be done. Some believe the future, but some also have need to convince people. Those who have bought it have seen the advantage, so it's good. They are out there telling people about the good news, and yeah, there's still a long way to go.
There has been enablers, there have been factors that have been pushing the growth of the industry. So you realize that the first quarter of this year was very good because of the small power outages we had. The inflows were good. Second quarter was also good. Just that the third quarter has been a bit slow, just because power has been quite stable. The Energy Commission says it has put in the necessary checks to ensure only approved solar panels are offered for use.
We regulate all the renewable energy players in the country, and as the regulator, we license them. So then we work very closely with them, and all the regulations that we develop are basically to help the renewable energy market in the country grow. The Energy Commission's website, we have a list of companies that have been licensed to undertake these renewable energy installations.
The fair has been a common platform for the public to interact with both public and private sector players in the energy space.
And that's it for the energy segment.
Say, SSA Jayo, my income, na ye mine say, I pepper. Yenjai, kalam say, Yenjai, kalam say, Yenjai, Yenjai, galamsey, Ghana. Galamsey, yes you are say oh. Galamsey, and forest I say oh. Galamsey, in call for ewu. Say a bunch of our bedem. Yenjai, galamsey. Yenjai, galamsey. Yenjai, galamsey, Ghana. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in sell. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in sell. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, a man in sell. Galamsey, master. Galamsey, master. Galamsey, master. Galamsey, master. Galamsey, master.
Health segment, there will be an expected drop in neonatal death in 2 health facilities, the Pentecost Hospital in the National Capital Accra and the Agogo Presbyterian Hospital in the Ashanti region. This follows the donation of ultrasound Doppler machines and ultrasound monitoring computers worth over £3,000 to the 2 facilities. Passion for Missions, a missions-minded group of the Church of Pentecost in Deptford in the UK, made the donation from individual contributions.
Neonatal mortality remains relatively high in the country. Factors that predispose children to the situation are said to be birth size that were perceived to be small, low birth weight, higher parity, multiple births, among others. As the country struggles to prevent neonatal mortality, the donation from the UK group, the Passion for Missions, is deemed as timely. They donated 2 fetal monitor machines and 30 pieces of ultrasound baby heart rate monitors. The items were received by the International Missions Director of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Emmanuel Ajimaembeku, for onward presentation to the 2 facilities.
That's it for the health segment.